Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Charles Bartow here. Welcome to a special edition of World True News. Tonight we will be discussing a disturbing development from the Turner Fantasy Republic. Joining me tonight is world-renowned Dr. Brenda Schmidt, Ph.D. Dr. Schmidt's specialty is in the area of delusional disorders and their relationships to cults, governments, religion and individuals. Welcome and thank you for joining us, Dr. Schmidt.
You're quite welcome and thank you for inviting me, Mr. Bartow.
I received a copy of an email correspondence between James Timothy Turner, the so-called president of the Fantasy Republic and self-appointed religious leader, and the wicked woman in Georgia he continues to discredit and smear among his deluded followers. Yesterday Mr. Turner was included in on a rather beautiful Christian message that Ms. Hinkle sent out to her email list. It was a story about a preacher, new to his town, who was given more change than he had coming by a local bus driver. The preacher struggled with his conscience about giving the quarter too much change back to the driver, but in the end, took the high road and presented it to the driver. The story was a moral of the story is, type, and listed the morals as: watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become actions. Watch your actions, they become habits. Watch your habits, they become character. Watch your character, it becomes your destiny. The message ended with, "I'm glad a friend forwarded this to me as a reminder. So, I choose to forward it to you, my friend. God bless you. If you don't pass this on to anybody, nothing bad will happen, but if you do, you will have ministered to someone today." Would you agree, Dr. Schmidt, this message contained a very clear and Christian intent? Do you see any way in which the message could be construed to be condemning or aggressive?
Well, if Miss Hinkle had sent the message only to Mr. Turner and if she had highlighted the moral of the story, I would say it could have been interpreted negatively. But you have said she didn't do that, so the answer is no, I don't.
Yes, I would agree. However, Mr. Turner apparently did not. He took that opportunity to attack Ms. Hinkle once again and answered her with the following message: "Please remove me from your email address. I have no interest in you or your filth. You should not even have the audacity to speak or write about a God or Christ you do not know. Terry, you have told many lies about me, and I hope you have proof, because you will need it before you will be allowed into his kingdom, as liars will have their place in the lake of fire. Almighty Yahweh will be the judge on that day to set things right, and you will be found wanting due to the blasphemous lies you have told about me. I will be a witness against you in the presence of the one who knows all of the truth. Tim Turner." Can you share with us your impression of this, Dr. Schmidt?
Well, Mr. Bartow, I have been following this cult for quite some time, and that response does not surprise me. Mr. Turner has exhibited extreme effort to control his followers with his own brand of religion, which is an ancient art. I don't believe he is a true believer, but rather an opportunist, like many tyrannical leaders throughout history.
Why do you think that?
Well, if he were a true Christian, he would have received the message with a Christian spirit, but he did not. Instead, he called it filth and proceeded to judge and attempt to shoot the messenger. He made no reference to the peaceful message, but rather used it as an excuse to exert his imaginary power over a woman. Mr. Turner's inner circle of religious thugs have quite a history of this tactic with women.
Yes, it seems you are right. As it is, Ms. Hinkle needs no defending. She answered him emphatically, and put the man squarely in his place. Who would know better that he has been lying about her than the woman herself? Which brings me to ask, why would Mr. Turner attempt to convince the victim of his lies that he didn't do it when he did it quite publicly? That makes no sense to me.
Most likely, He had blind copied others into his response, and he was attempting to impress them. Keep in mind, Mr. Turner cannot be caught telling the truth in print if he is to keep up his public persona. Any opportunity to reinforce his false, self-righteous pose will be taken. Of course, this has been done by far more capable tyrants in history. When religion has been devised or manipulated by man to control people, it becomes a blinding system. No doubt, this is what Marx and Lenin considered to be the situation in Germany and Russia and later in communist China. This time it is an evangelical faction of Christianity, but there is no difference really.
Yes, you're right, of course.
You see, whoever controls a person's religious belief controls his will. Whoever controls his will controls his thought and life. Whoever controls his thoughts controls that one's actions. Possession of another person as totally as this makes him a complete slave, even though the person may actually seem free and have a high living standard. Mr. Turner is a classic cult leader, but I think Miss Hinkle can hold her own against him. It is also a classic control issue for a pseudo-leader to attempt to discredit and denigrate by condescension what he views as the inferior sex. I believe he has met his match. Mr. Turner refers to his followers as sheep. Ms. Hinkle certainly could not be considered a sheep and definitely not a blind follower. I suspect there is more than meets the eye there.
I would certainly agree. After reading her response as well as following her writings, I don't think she needs any help. Well, I want to thank you for joining us tonight, Dr. Schmidt. Your insight has been quite valuable, I'm sure.
It's been my pleasure, Mr. Bartow. Anytime.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, good night and God bless.